Hey everybody, Brooklyn Attic Books here. So I wanted to do a little something different because I am actually reading Swan Song by Robert McCammon currently, and because of the length, I just couldn't finish it in a week. So in the meantime, over this past weekend, I actually ended up reading some really cool short stories from horror anthologies that I recently added to my personal collection. I'm so stoked to show you guys. I recently acquired all of these and just added them in the past month to my personal collection. Of course, it had to be my little treat for the month, but I'm super excited. So, Book of the Dead, John, Skip, and Craig Spector, 1989. And look at the names on this one, guys. There is some big names on here. And this, by the way, OG Splatterpunk. Did not know that going in. So glad that I did pick this up and read it. And this is really hard to come by nowadays. Check this out. Obituaries issue number 5. This is the one where Brian Smith is actually the guest author in the book. This is a zine that is signed by all of these authors who we love and know. And this, of course, is a Splatterpunk anthology. And check it out. All signed. Brian Smith signed book plate. And even included a magnet and a bookmark. How cool is that? I love that. This last horror anthology is something brand new that McSweeney's actually did. So McSweeney's is a quarterly, I guess, magazine where different really famous authors submit their pieces, their short stories for this anthology book or magazine that comes out, I guess, once every 3 months, right? Quarterly. So this is actually issue number 71, and the reason why I picked this up, other than the fact that it was like super cheap, by the way, $32. Let me show you what you get for 32 bucks. So this is the outside. I had to take these apart prior to the video because you have to be so careful. This is so tightly packed. And then within this, it's like a Russian doll. You have a sleeve within a sleeve within a sleeve, right? And so you see that what's actually happening is this is the skin of the monster. This is the muscle and tendons. And then I believe this is the skeletal side. And the book itself is absolutely stunning. Check it out. And that was 32 bucks. By the way, check it out. I love that. I love beautiful artwork. And I read 2 stories from here that I'm excited to talk about and share with you. Disclaimer, there will be some spoilers. The reason why is because it's really difficult to talk about short stories and review them without giving context. And it's okay because I'm not talking about every single story. I'm just giving you an idea of what type of stories are in these different anthologies so that you can pick it up and you can read it on your own. And I hope that you do. So why these things are cool, this is an old book. It's collectible. These old paperbacks, I go crazy for them. Obviously. It's limited edition, 500. You can now get it on their website. I don't know, it might be sold out, who knows. But this is limited edition. Once it's gone, it's gone. And these guys, I mean, this is issue number 71. These guys have been around. So the first story I read was in Book of the Dead. This story was so wild. It is called A Sad Last Love at the Diner of the Damned, and it is by Edward Bryant. Our main character is actually a very attractive waitress at a diner in the middle of nowhere, USA, Colorado. And what's happening is the government and the law basically made it legal for citizens to go out and I guess fight back against zombies because zombies are now taking over. There's a zombie outbreak in the world. And so at the same time that this is happening, there is a budding romance between our main character and the deputy of the town. We learn fairly quickly why the diner actually does so well in business, and it is because, like most middle of nowhere USA stories, our main character, who's very attractive, attracts the attention of men in towns near and far away. So they come and they flock to this diner. And the men who decide to come to the diner and bunker down in the diner during the zombie apocalypse actually end up getting drunk, rowdy, and you guessed it, because this is Splatterpunk, horny. So in the middle of our poor main character getting raped by not zombie but regular people, her now new deputy boyfriend, deputy undead, definitely dead, comes to save the day and breaks through the diner door, but he ends up getting killed again. And at this point, we realize that the zombie apocalypse is getting out of hand, and it seems that most of the town are now zombies, and they're surrounding this diner. Story ends up with our main character hopefully blowing her brains out as she's reaching for the loaded revolver of her deputy boyfriend laying dead nearby, because the zombies are now raping her. Splatterpunk. Enjoy. 1989. I ended up reading the story The Sick Place by Brian Smith from this volume. And I was just very curious to see what the newer Splatterpunk stories were going to be like, right? So now we have the 1989 versions, and now we're moving on and we're getting the 2023 ones. And I'm not sure that I understood the story all too well. I mean, it's a very straightforward story, but for a short story, there was a lot crammed into it. I mean, you had this demented hospital with demented staff who love to torture people. You had a torture dominatrix. You had cannibalism. You had dark magic, like spell casting and things like that. It was a little bit all over the place. It was a little bit mix of everything. I appreciate what the author, I guess, tried to do, but for me, it wasn't, I don't know. There was a lot of characters in this short story, and I'm talking like it's 30-something page, maybe 32 pages or whatnot. It's a short story, and there's maybe like 3 point of views crammed into it. And the story just gets wild and bugged out. And really the only connection that these people have is this sick place, this hospital that everybody just so happens to end up at. And it's a place that exists in the middle of nowhere, where it attracts evildoers, I guess, who like to torture people or eat them, whatever, right? In this horror story book, I ended up reading 2 stories. Both stories hit the nail on the head of very, very deep, dark fears. The first story I read was The Refrigerator Cemetery by Mariana Enriquez, and she is a very big author right now. I see a lot of people reading her newest book, and I actually haven't gotten it yet, but this was my first go with her, and I can see why people like her writing, and I appreciate it, so I will definitely be picking up her books. But the first story is actually about just kids playing in like small spaces, and you know how kids tend to like go explore weird, dilapidated, I mean, I used to do it too in New York, so if there's a junkyard nearby, the kids are going to pass through once or twice on their bicycles, things like that. So they basically go and play in this old factory that used to manufacture refrigerators. And I'm not going to give it away, to be honest, because I really think it's really worth a read, and I don't want to ruin it for anybody. This is not Splatterpunk. This is more like more mental, psychological torment kind of stuff. It's good. My second story I read from this book so far is Here and Now and Then and Forever by Attila Veres. And this is a Hungarian horror author who, once again, he's very big right now. His works are, I think they're more dark fantasy. I haven't personally read them, but once again, he's an amazing author, and I never realized how good his writing really is until I read it in anthology. And anybody that knows me knows that I love anthology books because you get to meet all these different authors. It's not just like you commit to one 300 plus page book and that's it, but it's like, it's short and sweet and short and sweet. You can read these type of stories with your morning coffee. It's very relaxing. And you can even read one before bed and you can finish a story because they're 20, 30 or so pages, right? So our main character in this short story is actually a woman who wants to be successful, and she's thinking that, you know, she's nearing her midlife and maybe she's not as successful as she would like to be at this point, and maybe she's really just got one more shot at it. So apparently she buys into like one of these like pyramid scheme type of things where, you know, you make more money the more people you put under you who buy the products off of you, and then they get people who buy products off of them, and so on and so on. Except what becomes very interesting in this is the product they're buying is okay, so their target audience, this company, is parents of terminally ill children. And what they're promising is that you pay them a couple million and they will save their life and transform them into these immortal bird-like creatures. So I'm gonna stop right there. It's basically a mad scientist but like a modern mad scientist story. It's awesome, and it's not from the point of view of a mad scientist. It's from the point of view of this lost woman who I don't even know. It has layers, and that's coming from a short story that's 20 pages long. It's excellent. Actually, I wanted to read the opening paragraph because I posted it earlier in my Instagram. I thought it was so good. And here we go. The most profound change came with her understanding of a very simple yet universal principle: that the nature of life depends on your perspective, and perspective is a matter of personal choice. The very same thing can be perceived either as an adversity or as an opportunity. There is no middle road, no third option, only a conscious choice between one or the other. The key to success is seeing an option of success where others see only hardship. And that is how a short story begins, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed my video. I blabbed on way too long. Have a great day. Have a good night. And I'll see you guys